Hey there folks, today I'm going to show you how to install a keel guard on your kayak. So this is my Old Town Sportsman's PDL 120. I've had it for about a month and I'm starting to get some wear here on the front of the keel on the bow when I'm coming up and hitting concrete ramps or landing on rocky beaches and things like that. The nice thing is that now that I've had it out for a month, I'm kind of seeing where the common wear points are, and I'll be able to lay in my keel guard in a position that's going to best protect my investment. In order to do that, I'm going to use a product from Gator Guards. This is their Gator patch. This is a UV activated resin with fiberglass embedded in it that will harden up in the sunshine, but is soft and pliable when you're in indirect light. So it won't cure until you take it out into direct sunlight. Some other things I'm going to need today is some sandpaper. I do need to scuff up this just lightly so that the sticky backing on the patch has something to bind to. You can just use scissors to cut your Gator guard, so that's pretty easy. And then you can either just leave that Gator guard on there without painting it, but I'm going to go ahead and touch mine up with some paint to help it blend in. So I've got some black and orange here to match the ember color on my kayak. And I've got some newspaper and tape here that I'm going to put around the patch when I'm painting. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is clean this up a little bit with some alcohol. I like to use alcohol after I go over it with some soap and water, just because that takes out all the tiny bits of dirt and it dries really fast. It gets down in those cracks, and this will make it a little bit cleaner surface for binding for that Gator patch. Okay, we're going to go ahead and cut open the Gator patch here. So as you can see, it's just kind of a light gray material. It's very soft and pliable. It has a sticky backing here, and also has a protective coating on the top. So what I want to do is just kind of lay this in on top, shape it, and it looks like I'm going to use the full patch. So this is a 3-inch by 18-inch patch, and that's actually going to be just about right for covering the keel and then working all the way back to my skid plate here. I am going to trim this up, and you can round off the point here so it looks a little cleaner on the keel and will cut through the water a little bit better. So first thing I need to do is go through and kind of rough up this area here with some sandpaper. You don't need to go crazy here, but you just want it to be a little roughed up so that it has something to bind to. Oh, I hate yellow jackets. There we go. Nice and roughed up. So now I'm just going to round off the tip of this here. I kind of want it just to come to kind of a point, so I create a nice keel cutting surface. I don't want this big round or square thing on the front of the kayak. There we go, that looks pretty good. Now you can start from either the bow and work your way back, or you can start from the back and work your way forward. I think what I'm going to do is start at the bow, and then I'm going to work my way back, pressing this material in so that it sticks. So I kind of got a point there. So you don't want to peel off all the backing in one go. Just take and peel that back, just and expose a little bit of it, and then we'll work our way back as we go. There's my mark. Just going to stick that on there and just press. I'm really working it. I want to level this out as I go back. I'm not going to worry about getting it to lay flat along the sides yet as much, but I'm just going to keep peeling this back and trying to keep this straight right down the keel and centered. I'm going to come back here in a second, work on the getting everything else straight on the sides. I'm just putting a lot of firm pressure, trying not to get any big air bubbles in there or anything like that. That's looking really good. Okay. Now I'm going to start pushing really hard. It's a little bit soft and pliable, like a really thick Play-Doh. I'm just going to work it around the edges here. Try and make it nice and free of bubbles. And if you get some little bubbles in there, it's okay. We can come back and sand this a little bit too. I'm going to start from the center and work out towards the edge. A lot easier on this bigger, rounder part than it is around that front of the keel, but that's okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and peel back that plastic coating on here. And then I'm just use my fingers to try and flatten out these ridges as much as I can. Okay, so the next I'm going to take and move this out into the sunshine and let it cure and harden up for about an hour. Okay, I've had the gator patch out in the sun. It's cured in about 30 minutes actually, so the intense sun here. The cool thing about this material is, it's hard as plastic now, but it's actually, I can sand it and smooth it down, so I got some of these wrinkles here when I'm coming off the bow. So I'm going to go ahead and use some fine 220 grit sandpaper just to smooth out some of those wrinkles. I know it's going to get torn up anyways, but I'm just trying to get nice and smooth so the water passes over it smoothly. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clean this off with wet cloth here. Get all that dust off there. Let that dry. That's a lot better. Smoothed it out quite a bit. I could go more, but at this point I really don't think it matters because it's going to get torn up when I hit the shores and stuff like that. I just wanted those big ridges off of there. Let that dry, and then I'm going to get this taped up, ready for painting. Okay, so it's time to start painting, so I'm going to start with a base layer of the ember color to match the kayak, and then I'll go over the top lightly with some black to give it that sort of burnt ember appearance. Alright, it's been drying now for about 20 minutes. I like to give it a full hour before I'm going to flip the kayak back over. But I just want to go ahead and take off all the tape and whatnot. It's dry to the touch. It's not a perfect match on the paint, but that's okay. Not too worried about it. More about protecting the investment. That looks pretty good.